Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the importance of soulstones. And how I'm going to be doing that is talking about why it's important that we do these events every single time they come around. And I'm talking about Gear Ascension tournaments. Formerly, it would have been event dungeon tournaments. Anytime that you can pick up immortal soulstones and milestones, this is going to be incredibly important towards your Altar of Souls to get a nice collection, especially free to play, so that when these Deck of Fates events come around, which I know that one just ended the other day here, I mean, it's still in there, the Verdant Deck of Fates, but they often do have guaranteed champions every couple of months, and I think it's good to prepare for some of these. We'll look at some of the more recent ones and what I think could be happening in today's video. Now, before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download it using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Tholan Falbeard absolutely free. And these three amazing epics, we have Stag Knight, we have Rector Drath, and we have Barrakin the Fat at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. Also, don't forget that you can get this amazing Void Legendary Support Champion by the name of Tehanarak. And all you got to do is use the promo code Desert Queen within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, so let's talk about characters that have come recently in the Deck of Fates. Right, so you guys might remember one that was absolutely amazing that came around Christmas time, and that was Hilvi the Rhyme Call. She is absolutely amazing. I use her in Live Arena. I use her in PvE. She's got, right now, I kind of have her built in a 9-piece Mercurial set to annoy people in PvP and Live Arena. But she was a really great character, right? Removes all buffs from all enemies. She had that kind of that rework with Tormund. And so this was, one day maybe I'll get a Tormund, be even better. But she has just such a really great kit. We're also expecting one, I think, really, really soon, because I don't think there has been someone since Hilvi. And usually there is a guaranteed legendary in a Deck of Fates, roughly, I would say every 2 to 3 months. Now, I have some thoughts on this that's probably going to happen, or sorry, that I think might happen, but I do want to kind of backpedal a little bit behind that, right? So previously to Hilvi, we had Raphael, right, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was a guaranteed legendary event through Deck of Fates as well. I think now someone's gonna try and correct me. There was one from the Chaos Awakes, not quite collaboration, but the summer event from 2025. I think it was Gracchus Turndrake, but I can't 100% remember. Was it Baylor? No, I think it was Baylor the Lost, actually. I was trying to remember which one from the Chaos Awakes it was. It was either Baylor the Lost or Gracchus, but I think it was Baylor because I did unlock them that way. I did clear that Deck of Fates as well. And then go back to March 2025, we had Khan Branchbreaker. I've talked about him before. This was in the kind of the St. Patrick's Day, I think, kind of character that came out around then. And I was a little bit surprised that we didn't get one of these characters for this year. And so I was thinking about like why that could be. Again, these characters, the guaranteed Deck of Fates champions, tend to come out every 2 to 3 months. I think if I were to have checked, that would have been a bit like 4 characters. I don't know if there's anyone else. There might have been one from the Alice collab from 2025. I'm not 100%. There was actually, which I don't have. There was Knave of Hearts, so that was also another character, right? So that happened in about January, or no, maybe later, February, March. I forget, but he was under the Knights Revenant tag, wasn't he? Where is he? Demons? No, maybe he's under Demons. Sorry, my bad. Demon Spawn? Is he under Demon Spawn? Or maybe I'm just blind. I think I'm just blind. Knights Revenant. Was I not in Knights Revenant? Oh my god. I don't remember which faction he's in. But anyways, you guys know who Knave of Hearts is, right? So that's my point is, I think Knave of Hearts, and then we had Khan Branchbreaker, and then we had at least Baylor the Lost, Raphael, and Hilvi. So there was at least 5 for 2025. Maybe a 6th one. Someone can let me know if I missed someone. The point is that these are very, very important. So you want to make sure that you get these done ASAP every single time. That way you can start stacking your Immortal Soul Stones in general, right? And it's not that difficult to do these Gear Ascensions. But these are some of the most important things, especially as a free-to-play player. Soul Stones are very expensive to buy, and I would not recommend this at all. Even for spenders, I would not recommend it, right? I don't know if there's any left, honestly, in here, because I guess the Deck of Fates is over. but they are quite expensive. They have this new Soulstone power pack that actually is available at all times that you can purchase, but it's like 1 Eternal and 7 Immortal Soulstones for $85. I believe this comes back around once a month that you can purchase, but this is about maybe 60 US dollars, which sounds great, but again, you need to make about 40,000 points to clear a deck of fates. Now, for a guaranteed champion, normally mortals are worth 70, immortals are worth 700, and eternals are worth 3,500, which is about 5 immortal soulstones. So until you can add up to make 40,000 points, right? And even then, you want to kind of have a little bit of a buffer so that if you want to play around with mortal soulstones, I like to pull these on 2x mortals just because I want to make sure I have the bigger ones for those Deck of Fates events. So the easiest way that you can clear these Gear Ascension tournaments, in my opinion, is going to be Phantom Shogun. I think it's a lot easier than Sand Devil. I'm going to show you guys an example of what I do on mine. Yes, I was farming some Minotaurs for my recently pulled Mythicals that you might have seen on one of my previous videos there, but Sand Devil is a pain in the ass. Not only are their stats scaled up quite high, especially when you get like past like 16, stage 16 or so, the speed, resistance, and accuracy requirements have really started ramping up that more often than not, people will wait and just do a Godseeker and Neri build, which is something I might have to do in a separate video just to showcase that. But this is the most easiest way to clear Sand Devil. And unfortunately, it relies on like one character to do this, more or less. But doing traditional Sand Devil teams are not fun. So with this, basically, it takes me like 3 minutes to kill Sand Devil 25, and this is the best way to do it. But it's not the best way to clear the Gear Ascension tournament. I think that Phantom Shogun is the best way. Now, you get the most amount of points by getting these tier 1 extracts, which is kind of annoying. Because obviously when you're running stage 25, you actually have a better chance of getting these greater extracts, tier 2, or the superior extracts, tier 3, and you don't get any points actually for getting the Chaos Powder, which is kind of dumb as well. So you actually want to hope that you get the lesser extracts because that's going to give you the most amount of points. But for the sake of this video, Phantom Shogun is just one of the easier dungeons to run. Honestly, it does kind of require you to have red stars or souls on your characters, and so having characters that can do that, that have like maybe like 2 or 3 plus, right? That's a good place to start. So this is my team that I have built for this. It's not going to be an entirely, I'm not going to show you like 10 ways to beat Phantom Shogun in this video specifically, but you want it to, it's not that difficult, honestly. I have Michelangelo here, who's a pretty normal DPS character. In this case, he is going to be my tank. So you can see that Phantom Shogun 25 is the magic affinity. He is going to target people who are weak affinities to him, which is going to be spirit-based characters. So I am basically utilizing Michelangelo as my tank. The rest of them, I try to either get to void affinity, the same affinity, or, basically not other magic characters, in this case for stage 25. Tholen is my main damage dealer. Honestly, he's been one of my top DPSs in my roster, and then I have a bunch of support kind of around them. So my Tholen in this case is carrying a lot. But you're going to see how the fight goes out. So I'm just going to use 20 energy on this. I think all my characters are properly geared. And I just want to show you basically how this fight starts. So basically, just right off the top, everyone gets block passive skills. So that does not work. However, it appears that my Mikey for this run anyways dodged it. This is a thing as well, so lucky him. But what's great about Phantom Shogun is that you can also land a lot of debuffs, including speed down, which is really important and why I have Esther Dreamsong here. So having a support character that can land that is really important. And you're going to see how things kind of ramp up here pretty soon here. But my Tholen does a lot of damage to this. So we're going to put in and we're going to start buffing up on my characters. And then I got the taunt up here on my Mikey. So it's basically just making sure that he's always targeting my Michelangelo. But you're going to see when he takes his turn here in a second what his turn 2 basically looks like. And I believe he puts down defense down on everyone. Removes buffs, puts in feeble. Sorry, turn 2 is a feeble. Third turn is, I believe, defense down. So he's gotten in feeble, which means that basically Mikey is always going to weak hit on the Phantom Shogun. And the way that you can see the shade counter, right? So this is basically whenever you do a weak hit, then you're going to be stacking up these shade counters because that's what Enfeeble does. But when Enfeeble lands on some of the other characters, you can actually get rid of it, which is why I have Mithrala here as well, because she can help cleanse on my other characters. characters, right? Okay, so we're going to go back and do that. And he's already half dead, right? Just because my Tholen just hits really hard. Really strong DPS here. And you can see the shade counter goes down, but it does go up occasionally with Mikey. That's the only thing there as well. So this one's actually going exceptionally well. He might not even... Oh, he does get to his... No, he didn't even get to his third turn. Wow. Okay. So... Or no, he got to his third turn. But he didn't put that defense down like he would normally do. I do want to run one more because the run just kind of goes a little bit differently. And you don't want anyone to die. If anybody dies during this encounter, things start to snowball a little bit. So I got 72 points in 20 energy, which is really good. I'm going to do one more here, and I just want to show you. It might not run the same way, but in general, so that hit really hard. Again, sometimes what I have done is I have actually put some tanky gear on my Mikey. Right now I'm using my DPS gear, and if anyone dies, like I said, it doesn't go well, so I'm really hoping he doesn't die here. And then the second turn here, I'm hoping he can survive this. Yeah, so the debuff spread. I think my Mikey dodged it on the last round, so you can see that defense down, and Enfeeble was spread to my other characters, but you can see that Enfeeble is cleansable, which is why I have Mithrala here as a second character that can cleanse. You could probably do it with just one AoE cleanse, and you don't need necessarily two. It's just the way that I've programmed my AI to auto at this point here. So this is not good, right? When you Enfeeble and you need to cleanse that, though. When you do cleanse the Enfeeble, though, the shade counter goes up very slightly, just temporarily. So it's not really a big deal long term, though. And then basically we get through that. We have our barrier, the shields up and stuff like that on Mikey, and he's not really taking much damage. You can get an attack down on Shogun as well, and that'll actually lower his damage even more. He's pretty susceptible to most debuffs, with the exception that you can't turn bar rewind him. But, you know, for being like stage 25, it's significantly easier than Sand Devil. Sand Devil is just a lot harder. So as long as you have some decent characters with some, you know, 2 or 3 red stars, honestly, it's not that bad. That was 20 energy, and I just got 165 points. That was mainly from the tier 1 lesser extracts, but the amount of energy cost that if you're doing something, and it doesn't have to be 25, but if you're doing like higher level Shogun, it does end up getting cleared really fast. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to kind of calculate that a little bit. So, I mean, just to bring my calculator up here, I got 165, right? So just for example, not that I'm going to get that every single run, right? That's 45 attempts or so times 20 energy. Like, you could do this hypothetically with as low as like 900 to 1,000 energy. Now, if you're not running Shogun 25, don't worry. You're going to still clear this pretty well. You're getting roughly around 1,000 energy per day just from your standard accumulation, maybe even more, right? With Cursed City nodes and Grim Forest nodes that you could do to get a little bit of extra Doom Tower, things like that. So bursts of energy that come in through different ways. These are definitely worth doing every single time they come around, and it's going to really help you get to those guaranteed champions, especially free to play, like I mentioned, because there's about 5, maybe 6 of these every single year. And I think that the next character that they're going to be doing that with, and some people will say that I might be wrong, and we'll find out, but we still don't have an event for Edward Kenway. Now, we recently just had a Deck of Fate, so it would be kind of weird to have one back to back, but I think that we are due for a guaranteed champion of Deck of Fates. And if it's not Edward Kenway, it's going to be someone else, and that will be pretty soon as well. So it's a good idea to kind of make sure you're still getting on top of this, still clearing these events for when you can get that free character. And all you had to do was just, you know, spend a little bit of energy and work on some of these dungeons. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Before we get started, before we leave the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, download using that QR code, get Tholen Falbeard, get Stag Knight, Rector Drath, and Barrakin the Fat, and also Tahanarak, right? An amazing Void Legendary Support Champion, and all you got to do is use the promo code Desert Queen in the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, that's it for me, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.